Hi, I'm so excited to have you here. Today we're going to talk about exterior fountains, how to use them, why you might want to use them, and where you should locate them on your property for the most beneficial and auspicious use of a fountain. But before we go on to talking about that, I'm going to tell you who I am. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kendra Gardner. I am an architect, designer, and feng shui expert. I am the founder of Energetic Spaces. And at Energetic Spaces, we help people create spaces that support them in manifesting their dreams and desires. We do this by infusing energy into the design process, by using different modalities such as ancient feng shui principles and other healing modalities to help people create holistic spaces that help them, support them, and create a wonderful environment for all things to happen. So with this in mind, I want to go back to our talk about fountains. Now, I love fountains. I always found it interesting that in feng shui, you hear it talked about so much. It's one of those ancient cures that everybody kind of caught on when feng shui was a big buzz in the 90s that it came out. And the first time, I guess, it was really talked about a lot here in the West. But feng shui and fountains seems to be very synonymous. I heard it all the time from clients. Well, how and where should I use it? And I love the enthusiasm. I love people appreciating it. When the weather starts getting warmer, I love the idea of adding one to your exterior because it's bringing the benefits of it. So I really want to talk about the use of it in your exterior and how it can really help your space, really help bring in more energy and prosperity to your home or office or building, what have you, your surroundings. It just helps bring in a lot of good energy. So let's talk about the auspicious locations for it. So let's talk about fountains and how to use them in your environment. So I really want to go back to the history of fountains and why they're so exciting. And the history of fountains, I'm not going to talk about it from the ancient feng shui thing. I actually want to talk about it from the West because fountains are big in Western culture, and you go back to like the ancient Romans and why they started using fountains. So it goes back to the aqueducts. Now, I don't know if you've ever been out there or seen the aqueducts over there that the Roman Empire did. It is one of their greatest engineering feats that they came up with. And so what they did, kind of piggybacking on other great civilizations, like the Egyptians did it and stuff, but theirs were really, really well engineered, well thought out. And what the idea with the aqueducts was to bring in fresh water and have it come into the city. And so to this day, there are still aqueducts functioning and bringing in fresh water into Roman cities or, ancient Roman cities. So Italian cities, like there's still water coming into Rome that is coming from the aqueducts. That's how well they were built. That's how well they're designed. They're still bringing fresh water in. So it was a series of tunnels and bridges that helped bring this water, carry it across, manipulating and understanding gravity is how this all came in. And they did it through a series of pipes and all this other stuff to bring it into the city center so that all the residents can have access to fresh water. Here are just some images of like those bridges that they actually created to bring the water into their ancient Roman cities. And like one of my favorite, which is why I started off with the Trevi Fountain. So the Trevi Fountain, what they would do at the end of an aqueduct, when the aqueduct terminated into a city, they would put a huge fountain to celebrate that the water has come, it's sprung, this is where it ends. So the Trevi Fountain that you see in Rome, where everybody goes and throws the coins in the fountain, takes their pictures, this beautiful fountain is actually the end of an aqueduct, which brings fresh water into Rome. Maybe they have more than one way, but this is one of the ones that bring it into Rome. And if you've ever been into an Italian city, one of the ancient Italian cities, you can still see like local areas where you can actually get water from the aqueduct. So you see where it says SPQR. That's how you know the Romans put that fountain in there. And you can still see it. Like the one in the middle is actually from Venice. You can still get fresh water. So they were placed strategically throughout the city where people could go and get some fresh water, put it in a bucket. You can still go and fill your bottles with it. As you see the one on the right, you actually put your finger on it and it comes and it spouts out and you can drink from them. The water is still fresh and cool, wonderful. It's one of those things that is really amazing with the Romans did with the aqueducts and how they always terminated with the fountain. And so it's not just an ancient Chinese thing. A lot of cultures appreciate what a fountain symbolizes, the big gesture that it does and offers to a city. There really are wonderful things. And so the thing I want you to remember or think about, like with the fountain, is you can understand historically what it means to us. It brings in happiness. These are wonderful symbols and they mean so much and they offer so much energetically to your space and surroundings. The key with the fountain is it brings in all these great things is you need to know where to locate it, especially with feng shui. Take advantage of bringing in that fountain to bring in that water energy. So the critical design issue is where to bring it and how to keep this water alive. Now, you think about a fountain, the reason why fountains are lovely or why I think of fountains are being great, and I want to focus on it being alive, it's a dynamic water energy and it's alive. So you think about it, that water keeps moving. So there is freshness. It is always able to be drunk. It's not stagnant. And stagnant water like brings things such as mosquitoes. And I'm not a fan of mosquitoes. I am something mosquitoes love to dine on. So I always feel that makes it very clear to me why you need to have that water flowing, that water moving, so you have it be positive, not a breeding ground for little mosquitoes to eat you up. I know that's still part of the ecosystem, but we don't want to encourage that part of it. We want to keep it alive. So there are benefits and perks of having an indoor fountain versus an outdoor fountain. And the rules of locations are actually quite similar of where you would think about where to put them. But there are some perks to having an outdoor fountain. And this is why I want to bring it up to people. The reason why a lot of times when I'm dealing with clients, I encourage them to think about having an outdoor fountain is that with an indoor fountain, people tend to neglect and forget about it. And thus the fountain goes from being a positive but to being a negative. So if you think about it, if you have an outdoor fountain, there are some benefits and some perks, and you might be able to help keep it being a positive piece in your space, things that brings in positive energy. So I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of benefits of exterior fountains if you were thinking about how or why you might want to do it. So the first is it usually has less stagnation. Most outdoor fountains are set up to a system so that they actually do keep the movement, which is key. It's supposed to be dynamic flowing water. If your fountain is no longer flowing or being a fountain, if it's just still stagnant water, it's different energy. Most of the time, you do not want stagnant energy. So you really need to make sure it is a flowing, functional fountain. And a lot of times, as I said, exterior fountains, the way people set them up or use them, they have less chance for being stagnant. Another benefit is you get to direct the earthly energy. So if it's in your home, it is helpful and positive and it's moving the energy. But if you have it on the exterior of your home or outside, it's calling it from everywhere. It's calling an energy to you to bring into your home, which is great. There's a lot of different ways that we would use in feng shui to bring energy or to call energy, especially if you live someplace where it feels like the energy is stagnant or it's far off. There's lots of different ones. I've done several different types of ones with clients, with seeds or whatever, to kind of bring the energy in. So that's one of the wonderful things. If you have an exterior fountain, it is actually helping to call or bring in earthly energy into your surroundings and hopefully call it into your building, your home, your office, your space. And then the last one, which is another reason why I think a lot of people like exterior fountains, and one of the reasons why I support it, is automation is actually a little bit easier because people often set it up to their exterior sprinkler system or to the lighting system. It's on a timer. It's something that's constantly going. And when the seasons change, like they do with everything else, it gets manually shut off. Like, if you're in the freezing areas in the Northeast or something like that, where you need to turn those things off or they can't be because you don't have that much water or whatever, you can do that. Or if you choose to have a different type of fountain that's run on solar energy or whatever, like it's less of you having to be out there just doing some basic maintenance versus daily maintenance of remembering to plug it in and turn it on so that you don't run into the problems of having your fountain not function or not working or being stagnant and then causing an energy drain versus a positive energy force. So now that you know why you should have one or how it's valuable to have one on the exterior, let's talk about how to place those exterior fountains. When you think about it, oftentimes we'll look at the bagua or this map that we use to kind of figure out the locations that are more auspicious according to the energies that relate to those spaces. So I'm going to talk about the auspicious locations that you kind of think about, whether you not use the bagua or if you use the bagua or not, or just the compass. These are kind of areas that you probably want to avoid placing your exterior fountain. So one area, definitely avoid kind of forcing it or putting it towards the southern area or towards your fame and recognition. This area is governed by fire, so the last thing you want to do is put out your fire. So avoid putting fountains here because this energy should be ran by fire. Now, there are some ingenious ways that people include the two or do both. And if you can do that, great. But just on a simple place to pick. Another place to avoid putting your fountain is underneath stairs. It's like the energy of a stairs is about movement up, and too much flowing energy under a stair, it just kind of encourages accidents, encourages health problems. It's an energetic kind of nightmare, that kind of thing going on there. So avoid putting a fountain under a stair. I'm not saying you can't have stairs near the fountain, but like in this example, like the stairs are one point and the fountain where the water is flowing is at another. And that's just key to kind of avoid that confusion of the energy underneath the stair. So then let's go to auspicious or positive locations for your fountain. So putting it towards what we consider the family area, it's like the western area. That's always good because wood is nourished by water, so you're encouraging the stuff to grow by adding water. We always talk about wealth and prosperity, and it's synonymous with, we have a fountain in your wealth and prosperity area. Because what you're doing is wealth and prosperity is actually in a wood area. So if you're adding water, you're nourishing your wealth and prosperity, so you're kind of encouraging it to grow and grow and grow. which who doesn't want more abundance in their world? Another great area to focus on putting your fountain is in the northern area. The northern area of your property, or the northern area, deals with actually the water element. So adding a water feature in a water element area is actually really good. You're encouraging that energy, you're encouraging the movement and flow of bringing that energy there. So it's usually a very auspicious location. Another really good thing is to think about where your entry is and to place a fountain near it. So we're talking about exterior fountains. So if you can have a fountain that kind of near the entrance, that kind of calls the energy up to the front door, that's wonderful. There's lots of styles, like there's a Spanish style that constantly has a fountain in the middle. So if you can encourage that to be near your entrance, or there's a fountain kind of outside that's calling in the energy of prosperity and good energy into your space. So think about that. If you can do it, it's lovely. It's a great addition. The only thing I always kind of focus on, if you do have a fountain, that try, if it is directional, like a lot of fountains do just go up, but if it has a direction, anytime you have a fountain on the exterior, make sure the fountain always is flowing back or towards the door, maybe not back, but towards the door. You want to focus that the energy is going towards the home. So you're calling it in as opposed to pushing it away. So for example, if you had like this little pond in front, we're almost there to having something really, really great at the front door. And all I would want to do is make a fountain. So you could just add this little guy, put a little pump in there and have his little spout facing towards the door. And you've changed this to a positive thing that's letting the water flow. It's encouraging it to go towards the door. You just totally knocked it up. So as I said, if you have a fountain that is near your entrance, or whenever possible, you have that fountain focusing the spout as much as possible, pointing toward the direction of the building, of the home, of the door. Always encourage that movement, that directional movement. So tons of different ways to do it. You can have, simple, you can have with like the line heads, there's all these different ways. Just try it as whenever possible. If you have a fountain near your entry, encourage it to keep pushing it towards the door. As I said, you always want it to flow towards the house. And I'm just going to give you some fun examples, because maybe what you have in your backyard is a pool. So maybe you add to your pool a little fountain feature and you have that point towards your door. You just took this up a notch energetically. And of course, a pool is different. It's not, you're not concerned about stagnation because you do the stuff to keep the pool healthy, but add a fountain to the pool and have it pointing to your house. And there's so many beautiful ways to play with a fountain so that it's actually directional. Like these are buildings that have these lovely fountains that deal with the ramp and the stair that is encouraging people and the energy to go towards the building. I mean, like, I love the one. I'm an architect, so you can totally tell where I'm going to pull some great architectural uses and designs, where the fountain is just slowly trickling the water. And if it's great, if the water is trickling right back towards the building, bringing people in, calling them there. There's tons of ways. As much as wide as your imagination go, there are different fun ways to kind of constantly play with the fountain and have it directionally go where you want it to. So again, the pool with the fountain, or something simple with a little, that's just kind of leads, encourages with the other plants in your design. And it doesn't matter if you have something rustic or something modern. It's the whole idea of keeping that spout pointing in the direction you want it to go. Don't be afraid to have fun. So I love that these two are completely different, but still create a wonderful way of bringing in water. Like the one on the right is a meandering path. It looks more like a river than a fountain. The other one is something that's totally designed, but has these little pauses that just keep calling you in. And you can hear that, you can imagine the noise is different depending on where you're sitting. It's just an opportunity for so much. One thing I like to talk to people or mention to people that's really easy and really simple if you're going to put an outdoor fountain is to use solar fountains. These things are awesome. I actually made one for myself. And the whole idea is they cost like $10. You can order it from Amazon and you just put it in a bird bath and you've created a solar powered fountain. So you just have to maintain it, like keep it clean so there's not a lot of debris, but the sun is what keeps the fountain going. So it just keeps going. So make sure it's clear of debris and there's enough water so the fountain's always working. And you've got an exterior fountain. And if you want, you can actually take it away when the weather changes, or depending on where you live, you can't have a fountain in the winter, like where I am, the frost. I'll bring the fountain in, and then you can take it back out when it warms up again. And there's lots of fun. You can have fun adding flowers and being decorative. Like that's what I did. I actually added some purple flowers to encourage the wealth and abundance. So solar fountains often a great opportunity. They're really small. They're very inexpensive. You can add a couple. You can use one. You can have so much fun. And it's an easy way to add an exterior fountain and change things up. One of my favorite that I've seen is this fountain, which I found on anextraordinaryday.net. She made this awesome fountain. and put it on her terrace. And the thing I love about this fountain is she took it to another level, because not only is there a fountain, now this one is not a solar fountain, this one has a pump, but she added goldfish. Now, goldfish in a koi pond are big pluses in wealth and abundance according to feng shui. As you can imagine, just the idea of adding the living element, you're adding a little fun, you're actually adding a little fire by adding a living element, but also the gold and the goldfish, very auspicious. So you're putting this, so a wealth and abundance fountain added with goldfish, you just kick this bad boy up a little bit and add even more positive energy, playing with these two things. And this just sits on her terrace. So this is an awesome little thing that adds a lovely element. You got the sound of the water, you got the goldfish, it's beautiful, it's tranquil, and it's an energy powerhouse. I love it. I think it's a great example of what you can do. So a lot of fun thing is, of course, if you add the goldfish, because you probably need a way to aerate it and take care of it for the goldfish or the koi fish, whatever fish you decide to use in your fountain. So it's actually a fun way kind of bring it up to another level, adding the plants, like then you're adding in more elements and you're actually kind of doing a whole lot with the energy, which is all positive and wonderful. And it might help you if you have to put it in a place that might not be great, or you want to encourage more than just one thing. It just has so many opportunities, and it can be to your style. Like maybe you want to see the fish more, maybe you want to see like the lily pads more, whatever talks to you, keep it simple, have fun, but it's so many opportunities for growth and potential in your exterior fountain when you start adding these other elements. So just to review why I kind of think of the benefits of an exterior fountain, why I think about adding it, is it does help direct earthly energy. So it calls in the energy from the earth, from the environment, from the world, and kind of calls it into where you are. So you can direct it back towards your home or towards your building or your office. Like it can just kind of help call the energy in, kind of bring things to you, which is always wonderful. It's easy to control and keep down any type of problems with stagnation. And also, depending on what type of exterior fountain you do, if you can tie it to other systems, the automation will be really good and help you take out the worry and concern of it getting stagnant, of it having problems. It makes the upkeep easier. So it really is not that hard. I mean, those simple solar fountains really give you an opportunity to add the fountain, change it, move it, rearrange it, play with it, and kind of stir the energy and get things moving, which is so great and so good. And you will totally appreciate the benefits this offers to you. So if you need help designing an outdoor fountain, because there are areas, as you heard me mention, that are more auspicious than others, you can always talk to a feng shui practitioner. They can talk to you, help you figure it out, what's going on in your world. Maybe you want it here versus there. But have fun, think about the key locations, and really change everything in your world. So if you want to learn more about fountains or how to use feng shui or how to play with the water element, please stay tuned for more videos. We have a series of videos relating to the fountain. So we talk about where, interior and exterior. We talk about the 4 reasons why, like all the great energetic benefits of it. And we're always here for you at Energetic Spaces to help you if you want to know how or where or when or how to set it up or what to do. We're always here to help if you want more help on how to use the fountain in your space. So remember, everything is energy. So try to keep it positive and productive and keep the good energy flowing in your space. And thank you. I look forward to talking to you and seeing you on the next video.